Scrooge was greeted by a tall, cloaked figure, hooded, dressed all in black. The cloak covered its entire self, leaving nothing to be seen except an outstretched hand. And even though this spirit appeared to have no face, as it moved closer to Scrooge, it felt as though it was staring into his soul. "Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come?" asked Scrooge. "I fear you more than any other spirit." The spirit did not say a word, which terrified the now emotionally exhausted old man. The spirit led Scrooge back to town, and the pair wandered the streets together. They walked until they came across a group of men chattering outside a pub. Scrooge recognised the men. As he moved closer, he heard them talking about a person who had died that day. He wanted to know more. Someone had died. Who could it be? But Scrooge didn't get the chance to learn the name of the deceased, as the spirit quickly ushered him on. The ghost led Scrooge further through the streets, and he soon recognised where he was. They were headed towards Bob Cratchit's house, where he had been previously with the ghost of Christmas Present. He peered through the same window he had before, but instead of children joyfully playing with their father, the Cratchit children were as still as statues. A few minutes later, Bob Cratchit came through the door. He looked weary, like he hadn't slept in a long time. "You went there today?" asked Mrs. Cratchit. Her husband's eyes filled with tears as he nodded his head. "Yes," he replied. "I wish you could have gone. I wish you could have seen how green the place is. But you will, my dear. I promised him we'd walk there every Sunday. My little child, my tiny Tim." Bob Cratchit's words broke into cries. Scrooge then realised that something terrible had happened. The sick little boy he had seen through the window before had died. Tiny Tim was so very poorly, and Bob Cratchit was working so hard to take care of him and the rest of his family. Scrooge's eyes too filled with tears as he watched the family try to comfort each other. He had grown so cold-hearted over the years, he had forgotten the importance of family. The spirit moved the tearful Scrooge on, and when he wiped his eyes and looked up, he found himself standing in a snow-covered graveyard. The spirit pointed to one grave right in the back corner of the graveyard. Scrooge slowly walked over to it and read upon the stone his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. "Spirit," cried Scrooge, "hear me. I am not the man I once was. I will not be the man I must have been so far. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Good spirit, I will no longer be cruel and selfish. I will be joyful and kind. You spirits have shown me how I must change my ways. I cannot change my past, but I can make changes in the present and hopefully change my future," he exclaimed as he pointed down to his own tombstone. Filled with fear, Scrooge grabbed the spirit's hands. Within seconds, he was back in his bed, and the final spirit vanished into darkness.